The world has just witnessed a defining moment in US foreign policy. President Donald Trump, known for his uncompromising stance on American interests, has authorized a series of massive precision airstrikes against the Iran-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen. But what does this mean for America's global dominance, the Middle East, and the future of international trade? These strikes were not just a response, they were a message. A message to the world that the United States will not tolerate threats to its ships, its economy, or its allies. And now the world waits. Will the Houthis retaliate? Will Iran escalate? Could this be the first step toward a larger, more devastating war? Stay with us, because this changes everything. The Red Sea Crisis, a war on global trade. To truly understand the scale and significance of these airstrikes, we need to go back to the source of the conflict, the Red Sea Crisis. For over a year, the Houthis, a heavily armed rebel group in Yemen, have waged war on global trade, launching relentless attacks on ships passing through the el-Mandeb Strait, one of the most critical maritime choke points in the world. These are not just random attacks. This is economic warfare, an attempt to cripple international trade and exert dominance over one of the most strategic waterways on the planet. Over 12% of global trade passes through the Red Sea. Every day, billions of dollars in goods, oil, electronics, food, and raw materials move through this corridor. The Houthis' missile and drone strikes on commercial vessels have forced global shipping giants to reroute around Africa, adding weeks of delay and millions in extra costs to global supply chains. America, Europe, and Asia have all felt the economic sting. Prices have surged, delays have mounted, and tensions have escalated. And now, President Trump has decided that enough is enough. Trump's bold decision, a military shockwave. In a move that took the world by surprise, President Trump ordered a large-scale military operation targeting Houthi-controlled missile sites, air defense systems, and naval bases. This wasn't a limited strike. It was a full-scale strategic operation designed to cripple the Houthis' military infrastructure and restore security to the Red Sea. Multiple precision-guided munitions, drone strikes, and coordinated naval bombardments devastated key targets across Houthi-controlled territories in Yemen. The message was clear. The United States will not allow the Red Sea to become a war zone. The United States will not allow terrorists to dictate global trade. And most importantly, the United States will not hesitate to use force. Trump's warning, hell will rain down. Following the airstrikes, President Trump issued a chilling statement. I quote, "No terrorist force will stop American vessels from freely sailing the waterways of the world. If they try, hell will rain down upon them like nothing they've ever seen before." Unquote. This was classic Trump, unapologetic, direct, and unwavering in his stance. But here's the real question. Will this work? Will these strikes truly deter the Houthis, or will they only serve to escalate the conflict further? The Iranian connection, a dangerous game of chess. This is where things get even more dangerous. The Houthis are not acting alone. Their weapons, training, and financial backing all lead back to one key player, Iran. For years, the United States have accused Tehran of supplying the Houthis with advanced missiles, drones, and naval mines, the same weapons that have crippled international shipping in the Red Sea. Iran has denied direct involvement, but the evidence tells a different story. US intelligence has intercepted shipments of Iranian-made weapons heading to Yemen. Iranian military advisors have been spotted coordinating with Houthi leaders. And now, with Trump's airstrikes, the stakes have never been higher. Shortly after the strikes, Iranian military officials issued a severe warning. I quote, "The Islamic Republic will not stand idly by as its allies are attacked. Any further aggression will be met with a response that will shake the region." Unquote. Could this be the tipping point that leads to direct military conflict between the US and Iran? A new Middle East war? The risk of escalation. Here's where things get even more dangerous. History tells us that military conflicts rarely stay contained. Today, the battlefield is Yemen and the Red Sea. But tomorrow, it could be Saudi Arabia, the Persian Gulf, Israel, Iraq. Iran has a network of heavily armed proxy groups across the Middle East, Hezbollah in Lebanon, militias in Syria, and factions in Iraq, all capable of launching retaliatory attacks against US forces and allies. If Iran chooses escalation, it won't just be the Houthis fighting back, it could be a regional war. Could this be the moment that pulls the US into another prolonged military conflict in the Middle East? Or will Iran back down, fearing a full-scale American military response? The global fallout. What happens next? As the world processes this seismic military event, the global repercussions are already unfolding. Number 1. Economic shockwaves. Markets are reacting with volatility. Oil prices have spiked, shipping costs are surging, and global supply chains are bracing for further disruptions. A prolonged conflict could send shockwaves through the global economy, triggering inflation, energy crises, and trade instability. Number 2. Diplomatic showdowns. The United Nations is holding emergency meetings. The European Union is calling for restraint. China and Russia, both critical players, are watching closely, calculating their next moves. Could this become another proxy conflict with global superpowers taking sides? Number 3. The 2024 US elections, a political earthquake. Domestically, Trump's decisive action has polarized America. His supporters hail him as a leader who takes action, a president who puts America first and refuses to bow to terrorists. His critics warn that his aggressive military strategy could drag the US into another endless war, one that could cost American lives and billions of dollars. This decision could very well define the next US election. The final question: what comes next? So now we stand at a crossroads. The world waits to see how the Houthis, Iran, and other regional players will respond. Is this the beginning of a new era of American strength, restoring order in the Red Sea? Or is this just the first move in a dangerous, unpredictable conflict that could spiral out of control? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain: this is just the beginning. What do you think? Is Trump's military response justified? Will this deter further attacks or provoke a larger war? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe, because we'll be covering every twist and turn in this developing crisis.